Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. To start off, I am not naked. I am wearing a romper that is strapless, and I just couldn't get a good camera angle, and this is what I had to settle with. In today's video, I wanted to play with a highlighter shade that I used in a recent video, but I wanted to try it with pink, and this is what I came up with. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button so you can see more of my videos. Anything I use will be listed down in the description box below. If you'd like to see how I do this, then keep on watching. So I've already prepped my eyes and done my eyebrows off camera beforehand, so I'm starting right off on the eyeshadow. The palettes I'm going to use for this look are the Morphe and James Charles palette and the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Conspiracy palette. Using the Morphe and James Charles palette, I'm going to go into the shade Skip with a flat eyeshadow brush. I'm using this shade to carve out where I want the pink shade at, and then I'm going to blend afterwards. I wanted to use a lighter pink shade with the lighter pink shade I was using, like you couldn't see it. So I'm hoping this won't be too dark starting off. But I think I'm going to blend it out with the lighter shade. Right now I just want to get that shape first. Also, if you have deep set eyes like I do, make sure you relax your eyebrows. And make sure that you're not hiding that line. Right now I'm kind of hiding it, so I need to take it up a little bit more. And you can only do that by taking the mirror and looking straight into it like you normally look. Don't raise your eyebrows because you don't, unless you look like that all day, don't raise your eyebrows. And since this is going to be a cut crease, I'm not going to worry too much about underneath this pink shade because I'm just going to clean it up later. So that's why I'm okay with taking it up a little bit higher, because all this down here is going to be hidden. Now that I have the shape that I want, I'm going to use a fluffy blending brush by Morphe, and I'm going to go into that pinkity drinkity shade, which is the lighter pink shade I was talking about. And I'm going to lightly blend that darker pink out. So it was Mother's Day last weekend. Did everybody have a busy weekend, whether your mom or if you went and spent time with your mom? What'd you guys end up doing? I had a super busy weekend because I celebrated my sister's birthday, and it was also Mother's Day, and I threw my sister it was her 25th birthday party. She also graduated, so we also had it was like a big, a bunch of different things happening at this party. It was her 25th birthday party, her graduation party, and we also had a game night, so it was all of it in one. Her cake, since she was turning 25, was of course the SpongeBob meme, what's funnier than 24, 25, and she loved it. The flavor of the cake was inspired by the Olive Garden cake, the strawberry cream cake. It's her favorite cake. So I had them make it just like that with the SpongeBob meme on top of it. Now that I've blended that out a little bit more, some of the dark pink came off, so I am going to go back in and darken that up again. Something else that happened at this party is, so my sister doesn't drink very much, and neither do I, but she's only been drunk in her life once, and now was the second time, was at her 25th birthday, and one of my friends was like, I've never seen you drink. He's like, you're always worried about work, you're always worried about other things. He's like, it would be nice to see you let loose a little bit and have some fun and drink a little bit. And so she was like, okay. She was like, I guess I'll try it this time, and you can see me have more drinks than I'm normally drink. And so every time she'd take a drink, every time she'd take a new shot, she would let him know. So he could keep track of how many drinks she had. Taking that fluffy brush again and blending out that pink a bit more. But she made it to seven shots. And the shots she was taking were Jaeger shots, which I drank way too many of those when I was younger, and I can't do it anymore. I can't even stand the smell of them. So, and if you know, you know. So I didn't take any with her because I don't drink really anymore at all. So she was by herself drinking them, except for one or two other people, and it was super funny. But she made it to 7, and then she was getting sleepy. For the cut crease, the concealer I'm going to use is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer in the shade Light Ivory. And I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of my hand. That way I can use it as I need. The brush I'm using is a Morphe M421 brush. Something else you can also do doing a cut crease is you can take like some micellar water. I just forgot. You can take some micellar water and clean up that eyeshadow that's like on your lid if maybe you went too far down or if there was some fallout. There wasn't too much on mine, so I'm not too worried about it, but it'll help that concealer stick a bit better. It'll also keep the eyeshadows from poking through the concealer if there was some. Again, this is where you also want to make sure that you're taking that concealer up high enough if you have deeper set eyes. That way you can see the cut crease and it's not hidden by your lid. Now that I'm done with the concealer, I'm going to go in with an M213 brush into the shade Skip, and I'm going to fix that line where that concealer meets that eyeshadow because it's a little messy, and this will sharpen it back up and also bring that dark pink shade out a bit more. Something else that happened at this party is my nephew came over. My niece did too, but she's still a baby, so she doesn't really do much but like sit and like look around. But my nephew, he's 3? I think he's about to turn 4 this year, but he's 3, and I have chickens. I just got chickens recently, and I'm still learning like how to handle them and like everything that goes into like having chickens. And I knew my nephew would like to see them, and I also have 2 chicks too. They're so cute. But I knew my nephew would like to see them, so I took him to go see my chicks, and my brother went with him. That way he could like hold them for him, and he could pet him. He's like really good. He's really good with animals. He's like really gentle, but he loves them. He like wants to pet them and be around them all the time and play with them. So he wanted to pet one, of course. And he was real gentle. He did a good job. And then we went out to go see the chickens, which these are fully grown chickens. They're like a year old. And they're not used to being handled. The person I got them from has like 40. And so like she didn't really handle these as much as like, you know, certain ones that she had. So they're not used to being picked up all the time. And like I still, since I'm getting used to them, I don't want to sit here and mess with them too much. I want them to get used to me first. So they're not used to being handled, and like they still kind of run away from you. Well, whenever my nephew went in there, he wanted to pet one. And he wasn't like chasing them, and they were in the coop, so they were like locked up, so they really couldn't leave. And he wanted to pet one, so he like walked toward them. Well, they would run away. Well, then he would walk toward them again. They would run away. So he started chasing them because he wanted to pet one so bad, and they were running away from him. And like it was cracking him up so bad because they would like flap their wings and like scream, screech at him and stuff. And like he thought it was the funniest thing. And they got tired of running away from him, and so like they finally settled down, and they let him pet one, and he just thought it was the funniest thing watching them flap their wings. And like in the coop, when like since it's such a close space, when they start flapping their wings, it's like a hurricane. It's like crazy how like just one chicken will just make so much wind. Now that I've put that eyeshadow back on there and you can see the pink and the cut crease is cleaned up, I'm going to darken this third outer corner. I'm going to use that blending brush that I used before and go into that Skip shade and darken it up. But he ended up petting one, and then my brother tried to pick one up, that way he could hold it, but it like screamed at him, so he was like, okay, I'll leave you alone. But it was so funny. It was hilarious to watch my nephew do that. Because well, maybe he has. I don't know if he's seen chickens before. He might have. I think he knows what chickens are, but I don't know if he's ever been around chickens. But he did a good job, I mean, other than chasing them. We told him to stop after a little bit, but he wanted to pet one, so we let him pet one, and then we were done. But it was so funny to watch. He was like doing that like really hard laugh where like you can't even breathe, and his face was so red. I just don't think he expected them to like run away like that. I guess he expected them to like, you know, let him pet them. But it was just so funny to watch because like I didn't know what they'd do. So I figured they'd run away from him, but I didn't know if he'd be scared of them whatever, but he did good. I mean, he did a good job with them. Because he was like real gentle about it. He just wanted to pet them. He like pet their foot and like pet their tail. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking that pinkity drinkity shade and blending out that dark pink again. Now I'm going to use the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Conspiracy Palette. There's a highlighter yellow shade in here that I want to use. I used it in my last video, which if you haven't watched that video, you should check it out. But I used the highlighter shade with like blue eyeshadow instead. And for this one, I wanted to use it again, but with pink. So I'm using a Morphe E18 brush, and I'm going to go into it. It's called Food Vibes. I'm going to use some setting spray to wet my brush a little bit and use that shade. I think it'll bring it out more. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack this shade in as much as I can until I get the color that I want. And I want it to be nice and bright. I actually think wetting the brush made it too dark. Dampening the brush kind of made it into like a darker green shade. So maybe don't do that. I'm going to go back in with that M213 back into that skip shade. And I just want to sharpen that line back up now that I've put eyeshadow on top of it. Going back in with that blending brush that I used before, I'm going to go back into that skip shade. And I'm going to start packing that into that outer third. And then blending, this is where I want to blend it to the yellow. But ever so slightly, because I don't want it to interfere with the yellow. I just want it to be a nice blend right there where it meets. I'm going to use the same brush and go into the pinkity drinkity shade, which was that light pink. And I'm going to blend that top part of the pink. Now that I'm done with this eye, I'm going to do the other one off camera and then do the rest of my makeup, and then I'll be back to finish the eyes. I'm back. If you're curious what I do with my face, I do my face makeup in other videos. I just didn't want to do it in this one because I wanted to focus more on the eyeshadow in this video. I'm going to be working on my under eye using an M562 brush. I'm going to go into that pinkity drinkity shade and blend that in below. And I'm just going to build up these colors. I don't want to start off with the super pink shade that I used because then it causes more mistakes. So I'm starting off with the lightest shade, and then I'll go into the darker shade. As I'm blending this out, I am connecting it to the top eyeshadow. And I'm also blending out this right here as well, because I don't want it to be as sharp. I only did that to clean up underneath of it. So I'm also trying to blend that out as well. Also, it's raining really, really hard. So if you can hear that, that's what it is. It's like storming outside. I'm using a Morphe M213 with that skip shade, and I'm going to use that right up against my waterline. And again, I'm blending this into the top eyeshadow. I was talking about my chickens earlier in the birthday party. I let my chickens out this morning, and now all I can think about is them being drenched out there if they haven't gone into their coop. So I leave their coop open when I let them out, that way they could go in, but I've read that chickens aren't the smartest, and they will sit outside and get drenched before they realize that they probably should go inside. But I've been keeping an eye on them, and sometimes I'll look out and they'll be like all poofed up because they got wet and they're trying to dry their feathers, and they're like really big and poofy. It's really funny. Going back in with that M562 brush with that pinkity drinkity shade, and I'm just going to blend that out a bit more. Using that 213 brush again, I'm going to go into the shade Food Vibes, and I'm wanting to put that on my inner corner on the underside of my eye. And I'm using this to connect to the top lid. For my waterline, I'm going to use the NYX Epic Wear liner stick in the shade Gold Plated. I'm going to do this off camera. For mascara, I'm going to use the Benefit mascara. They're real, and I'm only using this for my lower lash because I have lash extensions. I'm going to do what I did on this eye to the other eye, and then I'll be back to finish the rest of the makeup. I'm back again. I finished the other eye, and after looking at everything, I wanted to add a wing, and I think it added to it. Now I'm just going to do highlighter. The highlighter I'm going to use is the Nikki Tutorials highlighter trio, and I'm using the shade Glazed Donut. And I'm using a Morphe M510 brush. Highlighter is my favorite part of makeup, so that's why I'm showing you. I really think that using certain highlighters help make the look seem more complete. So I'm using like a silver, like white highlighter because my look is so bold, or at least I think it is. So I like using like a basic highlighter. But like if I'm doing like a monochrome look, then like I think using the same colored highlighter makes a difference. And I also think it makes a difference when you put it on your inner corner. It brings the eyeshadow out a lot more. And I just put way too much on my nose. I'm using a Morphe M213 brush to put that highlighter on my inner corner. And I want to take this and blend it up into those other shades and where I have the lower eyeshadow. And I'm also going to use this brush to highlight my nose as well. Now that I'm done with my face and my eyes, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Dewy Coconut Setting Mist and set everything. For lipstick, I'm going to use the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Velour Liquid Lipstick in the shade Celebrity Skin. I'm going to use a lighter shade on the middle part of my lips, so I'm going to use a Velour Liquid Lipstick again, and this is called I'm Nude. And I'm just going to put that on the center. Then I'm just going to blend it out with my finger. My lips feel a little dry, so I'm going to use this scented lip gloss. It's a moisturizing formula, and it's called Blossom. So this is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I like hearing y'all's feedback, so please comment down below with anything you'd like to tell me or any future videos you'd like to see. Until next time, bye.